Ladies and gentlemen, we are back here again. Even though the previous Varga video didn't do very well, but I promise there's a real reason for this. So today, we are not going through Varga Dragres, we are unleashing the evil dragon. Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Season 4 here. Today I am back to talk about Varga Dragres Rakshasa, or Raksasha if you're in English. They kind of changed the name immediately after one episode because they realized that the English players couldn't spell, or maybe the Japanese couldn't spell. I don't really know who this is targeted for, but I don't really care because both of us will suffer. Varga Dragres honestly is a deck that I was talking about quite a lot in set 4. I was saying it was slept on, and it looks like Kidani woke up because he deadass just printed a Dragonic Blade Master clone and just stapled it on top. Varga Dragres Raksasu or Raksasha is not only the easiest cross-ride to play out of the 3 in DZ BTO 5 Omniscience Awakening, it's probably the most disgusting one. And honestly, like at this point, I'm making this a deck discussion because I'm calling for a ban. Yes, I'm calling for a ban 2 weeks. 2 weeks into the set release, so I'm very upset. I've been talking about this deck in between a lot for a lot of my other deck profiles, so I figured it's finally time I do this video before I move on, because I don't think we can even talk about set 5 meta without addressing him. And no, I don't believe Chronos Command can kill him. I don't. These two still. Okay, so to make it fair for everybody, I have recruited Fade the Fourth again. Say hello.
Hello.
We'll be doing a quick deck profile, so I'm gonna run through the deck. There's only like three cards total that came out for Varga Dragres Raksasu, and one of them is himself. The other one's a common, and the last guy is we'll get to him. But the deck really hasn't changed, so I figured I will do a deck discussion because there's not really much you will gain from doing a deck profile. But I will still go through all the cards in full. If you want an even deeper discussion for that deck in terms of the set 4 stuff and lower, links in the description for my set 4 Varga video that will catch up to speed. I will put a link in the description as well for my Shojodoji video, because you guys apparently can't call for bans properly, but I can. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so I'm just gonna link that there just in case anyone's curious in terms of how I typically do call bans. Again, I'm not Jesus. I don't actually know. I'm just saying in terms of my own experience. But yeah, let's get into it. So, quick deck profile time. Yes, right line's exactly the same. Nothing has changed. Links description for the previous deck profile. I won't waste your time here. You can play the Vajra grade 1 and 0 as I mentioned previously, but I'm not sure as to whether that's the pick now because you don't really care about that one card extra in hand in terms of the 1 soul. You rather just rush with the grade 1 Blazer Bout, right? I think that's just way more effective because Rasetsu, or Raksasha in English, is now peak idiot deck. Like, you don't even need a brain, you don't even need to be alive. An aborted child can play this deck. So, like, honestly at this point, you can just give up on the Vajra Dream. If you want to play Vajra, Koro is in 1 month, okay? So, go home. If not, you can just stick to this. I think it's a perfectly fine right line. We didn't buy the FRs for this because it's too expensive. Yeah, too expensive. Moving on to the Great Trees. Great Trees, we only need 1 Varga Dragres. The reason why is because he has fallen to evil and we cannot save him because now he's with Sybilt. Not only that, but Varga Dragres Raksasu doesn't actually need you to play copies of the original in the main deck. So it's very... You see, that's the problem. If they did, it would force Varga to play more bricks and then we maybe wouldn't have this problem. But Kidani was like, you know what? Unison Dress is fun, and yeah, we got it again. Come on, Bushiroad. We were so close to ending this year well. Impulsive Dragon, from the creators of Kinarius, we are back again. I won't discuss this card again. You should already know why. It's pretty strong. EB3, top 5, call 1. I mean, any deck will die for this. So, yeah, links in the description for the previous video. I will discuss the implications in full. And this time, we brought Excalibur. Because... first of all, if you're playing to win the entire of Tokyo, you might as well do it properly. And 2, because this deck burns through Counterblast a lot, so you need the counter charge one. Honestly, I'm so grateful they didn't bring counter charge for Raksasu, because honestly, if they did, I may just start playing Yu-Gi-Oh! So those are all the old cards you already know, but I still need to address them. Drekasleif has left the deck for good. Okay, it's no longer coming back. It's dead. He's shredded. He's toilet paper, he's gone, okay? The reason why is very simple. The 23k fat ass doesn't matter if you are the 23k fat ass. So, Varga Dragres Raksasu has multiple skills. You want to read it?
So the first skill is that you are unleashing the evil dragon state. So
Or
literally
Melworm.
the keyword, it's called Melworm or Unleashing the Evil Dragon State.
Jailu Kaiko.
Where what is that it activates when you write this card on top of a different name Varga from himself or another unit that is already in the
Melworm state.
Unleashing the Evil Dragon state.
Yes.
Then you enter the Unleashing the Evil Dragon state for the rest of the game.
Yes.
So it's exactly the same as Unison Dress for Leonon.
And look how that ended.
Except Hello Frostlam. Except
Who's that?
unlike Leonon Vivace, this if you have not persona ridden this turn through other effects,
You
you
can
activate
get the
persona
persona
ride. Yeah, so automatically this is already like
30 times
way
better.
way better than Unison Dress. But
I mean, giving a
honestly,
restanding Vanguard persona right is never good.
Oh yeah, it's definitely something. It's definitely something. Alright, then his second ability is slightly different from the original Varga, which is that
We'll just
once
put the original Varga,
once
that's
per turn,
reference.
once per turn, solve once per turn. When this unit attacks, you retire all of your opponent's front row rear guards and you retire all of your front row rear guards, and this unit gains 10,000 power. So notice how I didn't say a single cost to that clause because
It's
they have
free.
they have now printed the clause after that part. So now at the end of, and then so
now.
yeah,
Now.
so now
Now.
so then it gains 10,000 power. So you slash both front row for and gain 10,000 power for free.
So
But you have to declare this once per turn.
yeah, but you would like just open your mouth.
Yeah. Then at the end of the battle that this unit attack,
Yes.
counter blast 1,
Yes.
and you retire all of your opponent's back row and your back row
Mm-hmm.
to restand and lose 2 drafts.
Yeah.
So it's the same skill in essence, but the timing is completely different now because not only is it still once per turn, which means you can't play Drakveda, even though you didn't minus the drive, you still can't play Drakveda because you can't declare a once per turn skill twice per turn. Hello Felturosa.
Hey.
Then it also now obviously as said in the anime slashes both the front row and the back slashes both the front row and the back row for both sides. But for anyone that has that has been reading what Varga has been doing since DZBTO1, you know that your own back row is not even going to survive, but your opponent's back row has 3 Philander. So obviously the disparity is very big.
Yeah.
And slashing your own back row basically has 0 consequence. Slashing your opponent's back row basically means they lose like 3 whole turns of tempo.
Not only that, you guys remember Juju Ignis? Okay, I'm not going to lead that sentence. Okay, if you remember it, put your thoughts in the comment section below on why did you lose to Ignis last WGP. Okay, and then we'll get back to that.
Okay, and then obviously his much anticipated and much loved divine skill for its well designed and balanced and very fairness. They threw it out the window because unlike the
Threw it out the
original
window.
Varga, which states that
Your
your
opponent
opponent
must
must
be
be at LB4 and above. Now you can just straight out just say, oh, DOTX. Alright, CB1 DOTX. Alright, CB1 DOTX. Alright, restand.
Okay,
Two
tell
drive.
skill.
So this divine skill now just states at the end of the battle that this unit attacked, if during this turn it has stood by its own auto ability, counter blast 1, stand this unit, plus 2 drive.
Okay, so a lot of text. We've been reading a lot of text for Raksasu or Raksasha in English. I'm just gonna give you guys the pure statements. Okay, these are purely just by reading the card. This is not my own thoughts. Okay, so firstly, as you already know, the Melworm state means you can persona ride. It's basically just treated as another Varga, so you don't need to worry about that. The more important parts are 1. That first skill, when it attacks to slash both your front rows and gain 10, is free. That means you don't even need to pay Count Blast anymore. Realistically speaking, if you are locked out of Count Blast, if your Count Blast denied, you still get to slash your opponent's front row and slash your own front row as well. Slashing your own front row doesn't matter because your deck is made out of like 30 painkillers. Slashing your opponent's front row is very devastating, and with this piece of shit, basically, this means you get to retire 2 for free. So for all my Eugene friends, hello, thank you for watching my Eugene Divine video, and I'm very sorry your deck is still complete nonsense because this invalidates every control option in Dragon Empire. Everything. Dragonic Kai's Vermilion, dead. Vermilion, dead. Carnival, dead. Zenland, dead. Jiva, non-existent. It's stupid because it's so poorly designed cards. Like, if this is an upgrade, this is like, I don't even know. This is not even an upgrade. This is destroying Dragon Empire because you just get 2 retire. But it gets worse because the divine skill doesn't even matter at 4 less. Doesn't matter at 4 more. So you can actually
Sure
crit-
less.
Sure less. You can crit gate your opponent by being a strong player and checking maximum number of crits And then he goes, yeah, I've gathered all your attacks. And you go, no, divine skill. And he loses. He just dies. He just dies. You now can 0 to 6 people with Varga even better. So Nairos, you're also dead as well. It's really unfortunate. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. And the problem is that Varga wasn't a weak boss at all. It was already pretty good in my opinion. I think most people can safely agree that, but I have no idea what they were thinking, very frankly. But Varga's not the problem. The problem is the rest of the deck.
Yeah.
Our grade 2s, we are playing 1 copper boulder axe in the right deck and 3 more. Because God knows you need more copies of Painkiller. We play 4 Shura. Shura is your beautiful multi-attacker. And then of course 3 Fahad. 3 Fahad, I understand you may be wondering why we're playing 3 Fahad. Normally we say 4. We're just rounding up a number right now. Fahad is a good way to easy draw. Links in the description for the previous Varga video so I don't repeat myself. But other than that, yeah, that's really all he does. You don't... Would you say you can even play him at 2?
You can.
You can, right? Yeah. So, yeah, it's not a 4-off anymore because...
But if you play him at 2, then you might as well just play the Varga Dragres at that point.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can consider, but it's definitely not a 4-off, right? It's not a hard 4.
No.
Okay, so that's all I need to discuss here. Moving on to the grade 1s. Wow, I like that discussion. So easy for my microphone. Moving on to our grade 1s. There you are. Mr. Blazamba. Again, you don't really need to bother Vajra, just kill him. For Rakshasa. We'll get to you later. 4 perfect guards when you stay alive. You can and could play Unga Bunga Aggression and play, no PGs, but I'll be honest, come on. You want to win Tokyo, do it properly. 4 copies of Impale Horn. He's also Painkiller, but fatter. And 3 copies of Balania. She's kind of Painkiller, but weirder. Why are we playing her?
So Balanya is here to replace the part-timer Meathead, who has been in this deck since the very beginning, because obviously your Vanguard is a restand deck, and your back row used to be able to survive, so that means you might as well just use your back row to draw more cards. However, now your back row no longer survives, which means that you need to have a rear guard that can immediately get rid of himself before Varga slashes the back row to then draw, which is why you need to play Balanya instead of Meathead. Because Meathead misses timing, because you slash the back row before Varga stands. So that's why you just play Balanya. So if you forgot what Balanya does, Balanya's skill from our Triumph Dragon video is that at the end of the battle that this unit boosted, if any player's rearguard has been retired this turn. So thankfully we do have rearguards that retire. So yeah, we have rearguards that retire themselves like Boulder X. Then you can put this card as a face down gauge. So this is for flare gauge for Gandiva. But it obviously doesn't matter in this matchup, we just need it to draw. And after you put it as face down, you draw a card. So Balanya basically acts as Meathead, except is faster, which we need it to be faster because otherwise Meathead will miss timing. That's why we play Balanya. And that's basically it. So the places that you can play this card is basically think of it as extra copies and worse versions of Rokusei in this sense. Because you only can put it in the same positions that you could normally put Rokusei, or you can boost it behind the Vanguard. Because it has to see that you have retired something, which only Boulder X can do, and your Varga can slash. Then you can gauge it to draw 1. Otherwise, it's AK vanilla, you can't really do anything because your Varga will slash your back row no matter what, which is one of the downsides of Varga. One of the only downsides of Rakshasa is that the timing is very awkward for your Rokusei and your Balanya now. You have to see either Rokusei, which has to see something get retired, or you have to have boosted Balanya earlier so that you and see something retire after it's boosted to then get the draw.
Okay, so and our grade 0s are all the same as the previous deck profile, so again, links in the description, I won't describe it here. Now, first question, where is Storm Slasher?
Who's Storm Slasher? No, I'm just kidding. Okay, wait. So Storm Slasher Dragon is a very peculiar card. Honestly, I'm gonna be very honest. I understand why they printed Storm Slasher. It's because they know that Storm Slasher, right, is that we've been calling for better magic numbers for Shura. Because they know that this entire support wave is designed to make your Shura as big and as non-guardable as possible, rather than because they already know that most Varga players do not know the concept of putting triggers to the rearguard circle, So they just decide to give you every single card possible to make the rear guard as big as possible without triggers. So Storm Slasher is an example of them going in the right direction, but then they printed a card that is so xenophobic that I don't even know what am I gonna do. I can literally use this card as a dream coaster. So Storm Slasher's ability is that when this unit is retired by the ability of your Varga, grade 3 or greater Varga Vanguard. So note that the original Varga Dragres obviously doesn't slash the back row because otherwise we would have this discussion in February rather than in December.
Right.
It calls itself back as rest to a back row Vanguard circle. Any back row Vanguard circle. So it doesn't need to be behind the Vanguard. It can be there to boost your Shura as well. And only if your Vanguard is in the Unleashing the Evil Dragon state or the Melworm state. So blast one and stand him. So it's only a restanding booster on turn 4. Do you understand how slow your card has to be that it waits 4 turns to be useful? And even worse, its continuous skill is actually good, but you have to be in the Unleashing the Evil Dragon state or the Melworm state to gain 5,000 power.
Yeah.
So you wait 4 turns to gain 5,000 power. Do you know what other card also gains 5,000 power as a great one? I thought so. And you know what other card also uses up your soul resource? Yep. Only one card.
So realistically speaking, you don't really need Storm Slasher. He's nice, I guess, in terms of the design for Melworm, but you are capable of so much more. You don't need.
You can use him, but you will have to then throw out Impale Horn, which means you lose your 15k booster.
Which is not a great idea.
And you have to wait 4 turns to get DivineZ. So I understand that there's people on Twitter, people on Discord saying that, oh my god, Impale Horn is done. This is infinite resource dragon. So long as you have soul, you can call him back.
Resource dragon.
I'm like, okay. But then what happens if you're fighting a Varga?
Yeah,
if you yourself are fighting the Varga player, what the hell's gonna happen to him?
He gets cut down by your opponent's Raksasha and then that's it.
And you can't revive him because he only when he's retired from your Varga effect, then do you get him back. Yeah, so Storm Slasher is good, and in theory it makes a lot of sense for this deck because it makes your Shura a lot bigger. It's a really really good like way to ensure that you have a board because now the Shojodoji is out of the picture mostly and Shiranui is going more towards full board wipe rather than trying to cut you down with aggression.
Yeah.
So having something that stays on the board so that you still have something to attack with is good. The problem is that it takes 4 turns to even do anything that I literally can go to WGB Tokyo and win the entire tournament and come back and he still hasn't restood. So yeah, we're not playing him. And then the Minotaur. So the Minotaur is actually not bad. For rare. Yeah, the Fiend Beast is technically not bad. Because what his skill is that when he's retired for the ability of a Grade 3 or Greater Vanguard, you can see the team that we're going with. You choose one of your units and it give you 5k. But if you're in the Unleashing the Evil Dragon state or Melworm, instead of giving that chosen unit 5k, you give it 10k. So 10k actually is really, really good. And it's something that I've been honestly asking for Varga for a very long time. The problem is that, once again, you have to wait 4 turns to do anything with it. Which is like, okay, fine, like 10k. I mean, 5k is still 5k, I guess, for Shura. Because then your Shura goes from 20 to 25. But at the same time, also, this is also assuming that you even use Shura on your first Grade 3 turn, which is the first mistake that you always learn as a Varga player, is that you never ever overcommit with Shura.
Yeah.
So like, at the end of the day, it's like, this is only good for players that don't know how to not commit with Shura. Which then begs the question was like,
why?
Why are you even playing this card when you can just play better cards like Farhad that is like idiot proof? Like, so it's like, I would recommend you still buy these two because they're obviously gonna be very expensive later on.
You need to buy these two because we are short printed on UUT. Yeah,
and just the thing is that every Varga support this set, I highly doubt they will be staying in the long run. But you never know at this point. The thing is that with every single anime cross-ride reverse deck, like let's say like DOTR, I can't really say Glory. I can't really say Glory. So if you're thinking about this as like in the reverse unit or like it's an evil version of the deck, that they usually don't stay past 1 season. So for Raksasha, I can't say for certain whether Now will even use this next season, which means that they are going to pivot away from Raksasha, which means that these two are completely useless because you can't activate the Unleashing the Evil Dragon state.
Yeah.
But obviously in real life, we don't have the restriction. You can continue to play Raksasha as long as you want.
As long as you
It's just whether the support can really profit from it. So I would just say just get these 2 cards and see whatever is on the ban list. And if the ban list touches anything, then these 2 are automatically the first inclusion because they work perfectly with Raksasha.
Alright, so thank you for saying the magic word. Now, what do we do? How do you ban this deck? Now, of course, I don't want to doom force and say ban everything. That's my goal. But I can't say that, right? So, let's be realistic here. If we wanted to hit Varga, what can we hit? I think the main 2 culprits you're definitely looking at is actually going to be either Twin Pulsive, or if not, you're going to look at my good friend Rakshasa. For those of you who watched my previous Varga video, links in the description, you already know which one I'm going to say. Now, the thing about Varga is that it, as a deck, actually has pretty fair lines of play, right? I mean, Shura is pretty fair for an attacker. 1 CB is 1 extra guy, and she's beautiful. You don't need to say very much. And your other foils don't really kill anybody. Like, nobody dies to Impale Horn. Like, it's good, yeah, Impale Horn's one of the main carries of the deck, but this is definitely not the problem card that broke the camel's back. No way, right? And neither can you ban Raksasha himself. He's too new, and he costs 3,000 yen as of this video's recording. So no way will Bushiroad ever hit it because it's damaging their stock in shops. And I use that as my quotation on why people won't hit Unprecedented during the Isasao hit, and everyone said I was lying. So, okay, so now you can clearly see that I'm on something, so accept and repent. Now, for Rakusei and Twin Pulsive is an EB3 call 1 guy, and Rakusei, he shuts down all intercepts, and then he's also a painkiller. Twin Pulsive is a win more card, right? It builds the board, it helps you get a more advantage, yada yada. That's not really much to say about him. He's oppressive, he's strong, yeah, but he has weaknesses. He can only call grade to a lower, which means he can't call himself or Raksasha, and he only gives 5. So when he's cut down, he's not really a net 0, right? So he is just a net 0 in and of himself. Rakusei, on the other hand, is not only a net 0, he shuts off all counterplay. He stops you from intercepting, so that whole first skill I was ranting about in terms of it being free, there is no counter. There is no stopping it. It's like Eugene having 3 free retire every turn. It's not fair. So this is the one part I would definitely call for hate. Rakusei, choice restrict Raksasha, or choice restrict Varga, I don't really care. Either way, I think he's the one that needs to be crucified because it's just unfair. It really isn't. It invites no counterplay. It is not realistic. But if let's say you are still determined to play this game competitively, not sure why, but let's say you are, how can we counter Raksasha? Is there a counter?
You just damage 9.
Damage 9?
Because the thing is that the biggest reason why Varga can tempo so well is it has always been it gains 10,000. It's a 23k Vanguard swinging twice, which means that yeah, if he doesn't hit any triggers, the second Vanguard attack is just gonna be 15k guard. Usually it's just 15k guard. So
Usually.
It's very very easy to block him if he just doesn't hit another trigger. But the fact that he swings twice for 1 counter blast, and he also then draws a card multiple times. If you count how many Boulder X and how many Rakusei that he has on the board, which means that he regenerates it. So it's a discardless restand that attacks you twice for 23 and above, which is already going to ask 50k shield.
Yep.
So on paper it sounds okay, but in practice obviously you know that once you check 1 yellow star, you check any critical trigger in your entire deck, and this deck suddenly goes from tier 4 to tier 0.
Yeah.
So the fact just giving just not letting Varga get that first restand off can honestly make the deck much more manageable to handle.
So you're saying don't attack for 3 turns?
You can know. It's like the thing is that I always repeat this. Varga is in a rush to kill the opponent because it has only 1 counter charge the entire game, or it has its huge triggers. But the opponent is in no rush to kill Varga Dragres. You have crest scaling, you have your regress gauge, your Imperial automod gauge, you have all the different cross strikes now that gain 5k to your Vanguard now, your infinite scaling, like your much higher scaling Vanguard power, you have stuff like Alcalibra, you have stuff like so many things that can shoot Varga all the way to death from 0 to like 5 if he wants to, that you are in absolutely no rush to give Varga counter blast in the first few turns. And that also means the Varga player himself is very scared of calling Regards, because The minute he calls rear guards, he gives you a free drive check while also meaning that he himself is still denied resource.
But if he calls the rear guard, he knows he can use that to attack you, which will demand cards from your hand.
Yeah, but the thing is that it demands cards from the opponent's hand, but then the Varga player will without the restand, the Varga player cannot pressure properly enough to net back the cards back. Because you know you lose all of your draw effects only go live on turn 3. So if you lose like your Boulder X, your Shura early on because you want to rush the opponent, you want to give them bodies to attack into so that you know they can continue denying and they continue like supposedly they are delaying their game plan or delaying your game plan. Your game plan can be delayed so long that you can just get bursted to death by every single deck in this format. Because his deck hand is complete paper sometimes. It all depends on what you draw.
So you would say CB deny Varga ideally for how many turns?
You can give them the color blast or the Rakshasa. Just their first grade 3 turn is the one that is the very very dangerous one to give them for, because it's just free advantage for that first double swing, especially if they are playing Impale Horn. Because if they're playing Impale Horn, their second swing goes from 23k so 50k block to 38. So automatically like you're not gonna be able to guard a second swing. If they check one critical trigger, then you just automatically lose. Yeah.
So TLDR, stop the base Varga if you can by CB denying it completely. When it comes to Rakshasa, just accept it and play on.
Yeah, and then because the thing with Rakshasa is that the original Varga has always had the problem of that, you know, you can count that you can't rely on you being able to use the divine skill because the divine skill is gated on your opponent being at 4 damage and above.
Right.
But because Rakshasa no longer has the restriction, you can fire it off at any time, which somehow actually is quite problematic in a sense because you as the Rakshasa player has only so many counter blasts to deal with at one time to use all of your effects to try and kill your opponent. Because obviously you want to kill the opponent on the divine skill turn because you lose a lot of pressure without the divine skill. Even though your opponent doesn't have to worry about the damage like limit anymore, you only have 2 Vanguard swings after that. And 2 Vanguard swings, especially if only 2 drives that turn, is not enough to kill. Is what, you know, Avant-Garde, you know, stuff like Avant-Garde, Dayusha, Overlord, they all have 2 Vanguard swings. That has never hurt any format. 3 Vanguard swings is where, you know, people start drawing the line. It's like, what the hell is going on? So the fact that you can only do it once per game, and if you're not able to fully win on that turn, then you lose a lot of firepower in this deck. Which is then the reason why Shura is now the problem. Because if you only have 2 counter blasts, let's say, without Excalibur, let's say like you didn't draw Excalibur, you can't afford it because you know now the card's going to become $30 in like 1 week. After WGP Tokyo, you're not seeing this card ever again. You can no longer do Shura and the Divine Skill in 1 turn, which is a problem because then that means that then you have to make a choice. Do you want to do Shura to get the extra attack off, or do you want to get a Divine Skill, which is another extra attack? So because you have to choose, that means that your attack pattern becomes incredibly telegraphed. So that's the main way to counterplay, is that your opponent the deck itself is made to be idiot proof to its own detriment.
Right.
The deck is so easy to play, right, that
you can watch it from away.
You literally know exactly what your opponent is going to do from mile away. So the only thing that you can't control is whatever your opponent draws from their Rokusei and
or drive checks.
In the drive checks. But even if they check a lot of critical triggers, it's just one attack. It's one guy. So you just stop this one guy with your perfect guard or your over trigger in your hand and you win. Because he has no more attackers to pass the triggers to, because you just stopped him from calling Shura.
Right, because you limit down Count Blast, so when he cuts them both down, it's only one person left, he cannot pass the trigger.
So it's very, very telegraphed, his attack pattern, and then so long as you can stop this one guy who has all the trigger power on him, let's say his OT, his defense, all his critical triggers, all on this one guy, you can stop this one guy, you win. Because then the next turn, you give him 2 CB again, he attacks with the Vanguard, he attacks with Shura, and that's it. That's the end of it. He can't do anything else already.
He gets 1-1, no?
Yeah, he gets 2 swings, and he gets 2 swings.
And
but this Shura, obviously, is only gonna be can only go so high because you only have 2 drive checks.
Right.
Yeah, which is the reason why I still believe in playing France. That's why I will believe in playing France in Varga until the day I die, because in the minute that your opponent underestimates how many triggers you can actually get from your 2 drive checks, one front can win you the game. Because you give you power up both your Vanguard, which is swinging again, but your Shura is also swinging again.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you play draws, I don't mind, because I think draws are still very important in this deck, because now you have a cross right that you have to gun for.
Now.
Yeah, now you have a cross right to gun for. But France is always gonna be much easier to win the game, because Shura is so much more important now, turn 5 and beyond rather than turn 4 and beyond.
So, in conclusion, do you think this deck needs a ban?
I would say we have to really see what counters that Japan actually comes up with, because I feel as though Japan are smart enough to know that this deck is not invincible and they know how to beat it. It's more so that the people that are already playing Varga can now basically just lock in this deck, and this will be the deck until the end of the year. Which is not the best thing for the meta, because Dragon Empire meta has been a huge problem for this entire year ever since Xiaomi came out, where it's just been Dragon Empire City for the entire year.
And they're not even related, they're all so vastly different. Like,
Yeah.
you have to reset buying the whole shit again.
Yeah. And the main problem is just that I think having Varga as a deck be something that is super tournament viable is not really healthy for people that just want to play the game normally, because it teaches people while it teaches people fundamentals when they play it themselves. When you fight it, obviously you have to play very, very differently as compared to a lot of other decks.
Yeah.
If you fight like Rezael, you just know that his core is gated by how much damage he has, so rather than gating him by damage to deny his CB, you gate him so that you know what he will call. But obviously that's just a suggestion, you don't really have to do it.
Yeah, you
but
can
Varga,
just
you have to do it, because there are just some games, there are just some decks that Varga that you cannot win unless you play cautiously, which is not very healthy for the game, because obviously round timer is still 25.
Yeah.
The fact that you have to think so hard every single time that Varga swings at you
For 25 minutes straight.
Yeah, is very, very tiring, and especially the whole room, every single team that you fight into, or every guy you're gonna fight at
Has
WGP
one Varga.
is either gonna be on this, or it's gonna be on Odium, or it's gonna be on another Vanguard high pressure that is currently out right now. So
Corti Blaze!
So the thing is that in a vacuum, Varga is very strong, but in reality, the reason why Varga is so irritating is just the fact that you have to fight it every single time. Go to a tournament expecting to fight it, which is obviously not healthy for the game, because you have to be on guard every single time that you play Cardfight Vanguard. Now when you go to locals, you have to fight this deck.
Now.
Yeah, so it's just really lame that a deck like this is so good that it has basically warped the entire playing experience around it, rather than since the beginning of the year. So Varga at the beginning of the year, obviously, it had counterplay. You knew that it could only slash front row, so it wasn't so bad.
And you could intercept first until this guy.
And because they introduced so many mechanics in the game that remove your own front row, so that they introduced Nubilis for Rezael. They introduced a lot of rear guards that have resist protection like Eva. So Varga wasn't a threat. Varga was okay. It was a very strong beginner friendly deck that was very good for a new era of Vanguard. But the fact that now Varga can now slash the entire field and is so easy to upgrade, because you literally saw we are only playing 4 new cards in this deck.
That's it.
If you go back to our old deck profile, we have added 5 new cards, only because this card I managed to pack it from festival.
No, but we were already saying you played that, so it's only 1 new card.
So it's 1 new card, and literally is a 1-to-1 upgrade, and the deck jumps. The floor of the deck has jumped exponentially.
Yeah.
So
the floor is jumped.
It's just not healthy for the environment that the same people that started off this game as beginners at the beginning of the year now have such a strong upgrade this early that also has no counterplay against it.
Yeah.
So it's very, very tiring to play Cardfight Vanguard if you always have to expect that you are going to fight one Varga Dragres Rakshasa every single time.
Every single day.
Yeah.
But not to June post though. We are posting this bright and early, trying to just raise awareness on our thoughts. Yeah. Again, we could be wrong. So if you're wrong, let us know in the comments. I'm sure some of you will. But other than that, if WGP Tokyo, WGP Nagoya? Is it Nagoya?
It's Tokyo. The next one.
Tokyo. After Tokyo?
Next one is I'm not sure the next
I think they have like a Singapore one or Malaysia. Something like that. I don't know. But we are going to have at least 2 to 3 more until the end of this year. And then we will see for ourselves, is Varga truly the end of the world. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been a pretty long one. Thank you all for staying. If you are still here, leave a comment if you're still here. I'd love to know if you actually watched the end of this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Oh, and of course, thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Kai ho.
Alright, thank you, cameraman.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we need to talk to the camera.